So now we can see what is going on in this country. High level of corruption. And anywhere there is high level of corruption, you can never see development. Never. Because any money budgeted for any development will end up in people's pocket. So why will a man steal 80 billion naira? What do you need 80 billion for? How long do individuals live on this earth and they die and go? How long? How much do a human being need to live, survive, and die? How much? That one person will be taking as much as 80 billion. Just imagine where we are. And I think it's time for EFCC and other women in Nigeria to start pushing the National Assembly to amend this Nigerian constitution and include death penalty for corruption. That's how China is doing it. Go to China, go and steal, even if it's $1, and they catch you. Death straight away. And it is what deters people from corruption, because nobody wants to die. Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is NNPCL TV. The news break out that Economic and Financial Crime Commission, popularly known as the EFCC, has arrested some top management officials of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, right? Following investigation into alleged fraud of $2.96 billion that was expended to fix the Nigerian alien refineries. These monies were allegedly diverted by some top officials of the NNPCL to the point that about 80 billion was found in one of the MD's accounts, several accounts. So it's quite a ridiculous and painful news to hear when Nigerians are busy waiting for the 4 refineries to function so that they can be able to, have access to petroleum products to power their generators, fuel their cars, and whatever they need it for. But unfortunately, some of these, management officials were able to divert this money for their personal use. So, according to the report, that we got from, the Vanguard newspaper, they said, let me read it, from their report. They said a key focus of our probe is on $2.96 billion earmarked for refinery repairs. All right. So based on that, the preliminary findings indicated that about $1.56 billion was allocated to Portharcourt Refinery, which me and you know is moribund. $740 million also allocated to Kaduna Refinery, and then $657 million allocated to Warri Refinery. The Warri Refinery was just shut down a few weeks ago. It wasn't producing anything. It was shut down after all this amount have been expended. In fact, I think they have expended over $800 and something million in the Warri Refinery, and it got shut down. That is where we are. So you can see the reason why the country is not developing, because of high level of corruption. I've said it in most of my videos that every year Nigeria, do their annual budgets, right? At the federal level, their budget is in trillions, while at the state level, their budgets are in billions, each of the states put together. So at the end of the day, all these budgets, at least, let's say 60% of the budgets are released. Where did the money go to? You can't see any development. You can't see any meaningful thing that, gets close to the amount of resources the government has expended every year. So it's quite painful to see, as people are wallowing in poverty, as people are lacking access to critical infrastructural facilities. Some people in government who are privileged to be in those positions are looting the country dry in the name of corruption. So for me, that name corruption sounds so beautiful. Just call them criminals. That's what it is. They stole, and anybody that steals is a criminal. So label them what they are and deal with them accordingly. And like I always say to EFCC, at the moment you are doing what is good and what the citizen wants, we will continue to praise you, we will continue to align with you at all times. Anytime you do what is not right, we will come out for you and critique whatever you are doing that we believe is not good enough. For this particular exercise, kudos to you guys for delving into it. And I said in one of my posts the other day that EFCC should focus on core corruption that is embedded in the civil service system. The public servants, the corruption there, both politicians, both civil servants, all of them, focus there. Leave the naira abuse, the naira mutilation issue, leave it for central bank. Central bank can take care of that, so that you will pull out your human resources and focus them on the core corruption issue, which is the key mandate why EFCC was established. And I'm happy with EFCC today of reading this report. And That 80 billion that you guys have uncovered, in these different accounts belonging to one of the, top management officials of the NNPCL, please confiscate their amount immediately, frozen all their accounts. All others who are still under investigation, frozen their account, trace everything that they procured with those corrupt funds, and then return it back to the country. Now, it's obvious that the 4 refineries that are not working, they were intentionally grounded. And the purpose is so that they will continue to import petroleum products, which gives them more money, because that's where the main corruption is. And that was why, yes, removal of subsidy is necessary. But if the government has focused on, dealing with the corruption in the subsidy, you would have seen that it may be easy that government may have been able to manage even the subsidy as are today. Nobody knows. Because for us, we believe and know that the amount of money government has spent on, subsidy is ridiculous, and it is highly inflated. That is the issue. So if they have cleaned out the corruption, maybe it would have been 1/4 of what government currently spent at that time. But all the same, removing the subsidy, that's fine. Where we have problem with the president for removing subsidy is that he had no backup plan on how to cushion the impact before he removed the subsidy. That is where the mistake, of subsidy removal came from. If he had that plan, the moment subsidy is removed, we're launching those proper programs that will help to cushion the impact on the citizens. I don't think we would have been here today, and people wouldn't have been seeing the subsidy removal as something that is bad or evil. So now we can see what is going on in this country. High level of corruption. And anywhere there is high level of corruption, you can never see development. Never. Because any money budgeted for any development will end up in people's pocket. So why will a man steal 80 billion naira? What do you need 80 billion for? How long do individuals live on this earth and they die and go? How long? How much do a human being need to live, survive, and die? How much? That one person will be taking as much as 80 billion. Just imagine where we are. Former accountant general there stole about 109 billion. One man. So EFCC, please do not enter into plea bargain in this one. Collect that money, frozen his accounts, and charge him to court and let the court send him to jail. Do not do plea bargain where you will now come and bring 30 billion out of the 80 billion and the 50 billion will go into voicemail. We don't want that. Learn to deal with people, get them to the root, charge them to court, provide your evidence, nail them in the court, and let the court sentence them to prison. The moment they start going to prison, other people will start buckling up. But because they do plea bargain, so which is very easy, I steal 10 billion, I return 4 billion and take 6 billion. That's a good business. That everybody will be doing it. So plea bargain, not for this one. And I think it's time for EFCC and other women in Nigeria to start pushing the National Assembly to amend this Nigerian constitution and include death penalty for corruption. That's how China is doing it. Go to China, go and steal, even if it's $1, and they catch you, death straight away. And it is what deters people from corruption, because nobody wants to die. So it's time to begin to put into these kind of clauses in our constitution. When you are caught for corruption, is death by hanging. Then you will see what will happen. People will start sitting up. Why can't we ask ourselves, all these monies that have been budgeted every year, where do they go to? Where are the infrastructure? You will see in the budget, construction of 20 kilometers of road. At the end, the road is not done, and money was released. They will go there, do small grading, and disappear. The money goes down the drain. Even where they will do it, they will do shabby job. And don't forget that even the cost of these projects are inflated as well. But at the end of the day, they will still do nothing. So if the corruption in Nigeria is the kind that when these monies are released, these people will still do the job and still stay part of the money, that would have made a little bit sense. At least it would even be manageable. But their own is that they will not execute that job. They will steal all the resources meant for that job. And that is the end of the game. President Olusegun Obasanjo, when he was president in 1990, when he left, what happened? He's expended $16 billion in power sector. Where is the power? There's no power. They were commissioning power plant without gas supply. How can you build a turbine without gas supply? And you commission it and say it's power supply. I was listening to LSOT the other day, in an interview with our Rise News correspondent, Rufai, where he was saying that his predecessor, the former governor, built government house, only the ground floor, and furnished it, and commissioned the house. Whereas the first floor, the second floor were not even plastered, but he commissioned it, and billions was expended. Is he talking about the airport? That the man said is building in the state, and 10 billion was disappeared, and there was no airport. There was nowhere they are building the airport. So these are the kind of things we are looking at. Are we talking about security vote money? Are we talking about FAC allocation to each state? We don't know what these state governors do with the money. We don't know what goes on. So that's why I said EFCC have a lot of things to do. That's why this Nigerian abuse and mutilation issue is not something you people should even get into. It has nothing to even do with anything with the citizen. It has no impact. You arrest Bobrisky, sentence him to 6 months imprisonment. It has no value to the citizen. But this um, public service corruption we are talking about, it is what is impacting negatively on the citizen, because the money for roads are not seen, they are taken. The money for healthcare is stolen. The money for education is stolen. So people can have access to education. People can have access to Medicare. People can have access to good roads. People are kidnapped every day. The money meant for security, to beef up security, is stolen. So these are the kind of things that you guys should delve into. And I give you kudos for marching into this one as quickly as we can. Because we saw on the news that the Warri Refinery is shut down after 800 something million was expended on that same refinery. So I'm glad to see this happen. So what we want, the way you people, pick Yahoo boys, they do their mock shot, sentence them. That's what we want to see in this one. All those MDs, nobody should be shielded. The same treatment should be meted to them. Bring them out, take their mock shot, and then charge them to court and prosecute them. And whatever judgment court give to them, they should serve it in, not serving it in private facility. They should go to prison because they deserve to be in prison. How can one man steal 80 billion naira? One man. What kind of greediness is this? Then my advice to EFCC is this. As you people are doing this investigation, right? Tracing these monies, because in America they will say follow the money. When you follow the money, you will find those people involved. As you follow the money and you are finding the people that are involved, one key thing you guys need to do as EFCC is to begin to identify how they were able to move all these monies to the tune of 80 billion for this man and the rest of the other team. When you find out how the money moved, how they were able to have access to be stealing these monies, then create avenues on how to block those access. And the easiest way is to have technology in place, right? Have a technology system in place where any movement of money can be tracked, and no money will be released until a certain level of completion is done. In 2015, when Buhari, was declared winner, the budget that we had for 2016 was zero-based budgeting, ZBB, right? One beautiful thing about zero-based budgeting is that you only budget for that year, right? When you budget for that year, what you will budget will be the exact, things you need to execute within that year only. And that money for those, activities will be released to you. And each money that is released is tied to a particular project and tied to those key activities you have identified in your ZBB template. And with that, you cannot move that money to any other thing. If you didn't execute that thing, you have to return the money back to the coffers. We did it in 2016. And at the end of the day, I interfaced with so many chief executives, both in the universities, in the agencies, in the parastatals, and so on. And they were not happy, how the zero-based budgeting was tying their hands, that they can't move money to any other area. Before they give them envelope system, where they just give them billions and they decide which project they put it on. That's how they steal money. So after that 2016, this zero-based budgeting was implemented. What happened? They jettisoned it. They started fighting with Buhari. They don't want zero-based. It's making them, it's affecting them, it's this. And in 2017, they dropped zero-based budget and went back to the envelope system. So it's time that this government should begin to consider returning to zero-based budgeting, because it will compel chief executives to use the money allocated to them to do that thing they were asked to do. That is zero-based budgeting. So if you are giving money and you can't execute that project, that money returns back to the coffers, because you cannot divert it to do something else. If you do, it's violent, and it's a jailable offense, right? So these are the things the EFCC should be looking at, and do recommendations to the president on how to curb this thing, because I believe in nipping things in the bud, because EFCC is going to expend resources to do this investigation. They're going to expend resources to begin to trace these people, to arrest them, and to prosecute them in court. They will pay their lawyers, they will pay officers who will do overtime to be tracing this money, because this money will move from account 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 till when it hits the destination. They will do layering. They will move the money in different locations before it now finally hits the main account where it should be. So, and the EFCC will be tracing the money from one account to the other. And remember, these people have numerous bank accounts. That is the issue. So instead of spending this money or waiting for them to steal it, and we now begin to pursue them and be creating newspaper headline, it's easy, cheaper, and better to block them from having access in the first place. So that is the thinking EFCC should be looking at. And then they come up with a proposal for based on their findings and their experiences in how government officials move money that is meant for development. So with that, they will develop a memo, all right, a paper for the president and advise the president that for us to curb corruption, nip it in the bud. These are the things we need to do. Getting this social software, with this software, it tracks movement of funds. And with that, we can see who is implementing what. Look at the US. That's exactly what DOGE is doing, Department of Government Efficiency. They saw how the civil servants, the deep states, were moving monies, right? They now create a system to checkmate all those kind of movement of money. So that any money that moves, you must upload the receipt. You must upload the documentation. And they must track who did what, these are the things they are doing. So that all this kind of money that was missing through USAID and the rest of it will no more happen. So these are the things. This is cheaper to stop it from happening than allowing it to happen, and you now come and begin to look for them and fight for for what they have stolen. So that should be my advice to EFCC. Document what you observe, document how you saw this money to move. Then bring up other experiences you have in other cases you have done, like the Ayabelo case, how he was able to move money from state government account to brew the change it to dollars, and then move it to the schools where he pays. So all these things, you see them, recommend it to government. Government will begin to block those assets so that this money will not be stolen in the first place. All right. So that is my advice for EFCC in this case. And again, Mr. President, do not shield anybody. Whoever is involved in this scam should be held accountable. Nigerians are suffering. There is no refinery that is working. Had it been Dangote did not come up, today would have been importing 100% of total consumption of PMS. Right now, you can see why they are fighting Dangote refinery to stop it from functioning, so that everybody will be on the same floor, and then they will now depend on importation. You know how much they make in this importation of petroleum product. All those money they move to people, increase fuel price, push it to the people, is part of the money they are making. That's why they love importation. So who in his right senses will be fighting a domestic refinery built by a citizen? The refinery that everybody is hoping on to bring succor to the people, and they are fighting it. They will lie on the news that the refinery, the products are substandard. They will lie. People that doesn't have testing machine are the one coming to tell us the quality of petroleum product from Dangote refinery. Dangote refinery has their testing plant where they test their product. But the people who are coming to say the product are substandard does not have any testing plant. Make it to make sense. So you can see it's a clear fight to stop what the man has done, because they never believed that one man will spend 20 billion to build a refinery. That's what they didn't anticipate. So they love importation because of the corruption. They love subsidy because of the corruption. They love them because of all the things they are stealing from it. You can imagine how long this man has stolen this money up to this point. Another recommendation I will put out for EFCC to bring to the knowledge of the president is that nobody stays in a position for more than 5 years. That is what it is. If you are GMD, NNPC, for example, immediately after 5 years, and they feel you are still better, they can move you to NLNG, for example. Because the more they stay in a particular position for long, the more they create those avenues to steal. Yes, we know we need experience, we need all these things, but keeping one man in a position for 10 years, then he must have built that tap root on how to siphon money without anybody noticing, because he has understood all the nitty-gritty in that office. So, but when the person stays for like 5 years, you move him to another place. Before he could establish his corruption racket, you are taking him out to another place. This is what you do in civil service. Nobody will remain one director in one ministry, remain there in one position. No, move them around. Before they find their feet in the new ministry or agency or department of government, you have moved them again to another place. When you move them like that, you distort them on building that corruption racket, because the longer they stay, the more they develop these roots. That's what they do. So with that, you will see people will be disrupted in their evil plan, to steal from the system. Another part EFCC should focus on again is crude oil theft. Is very important, because there is a podcast where Obna Oblo, that was the senior special assistant to President Muhammadu Buhari during his regime. I watched him in that podcast, heard by Mike on podcast, which is anchored by Shegu Okimbaloy of the Channels News. When you watch that video, you will hear him say that there is about $60 billion of crude oil theft money that is lying fallow in America, I think in Texas. EFCC, you guys should work hard with, the office of the president, the attorney general, to see how you people can bring that money back. We need that money. You can imagine injecting $60 billion into our foreign reserve, what it will do to Naira, what it will do to the economy. We need that money. It's lying fallow there. Contact the man. Contact him. He will give you the knowledge of what he knows on that. And you guys can use it to work to see how you repatriate this money. To crude oil theft is economic sabotage, which falls within your purview. All right. And then focus on the ministry, department, and agency. Their procurement system is full of corruption. Consultancy also is full of corruption. All right. Project implementation is full of corruption. All these training, foreign trips, this and that. Investigate. These are areas I'm telling you that they are stealing money. All those approvals you see, the chief executive of our agency or MDA approving a project of close to his approval limit in multiple times, that approvals are full of corruption. In most cases, they don't execute them. They just sign it out, put in all the papers, and that's it. They have people who produce receipts for them, fake receipts they use to retire these funds. They are there. They have people who do that. So you guys should dip your searchlight deeper and deeper. That's why don't distract yourself with all this Naira mutilation. There are a lot of jobs for you guys to do to recover a lot of money in the public service. A lot. I'm telling you, for free, you will recover a lot. So these are the avenues you guys should watch out. Dip your searchlight there, and you're gonna see what we will uncover. I'm telling you the honest truth. Then you guys should digitize many things you do. They should digitize the public service, digitize it, let it be digital, let everything be automated, let everything be approved through systems, reduce the paperwork. In abroad, everything is on system. You do everything on system, everything goes through. Then there are traces of everything you do. So these are the kind of things government need to inject in the public service. Approve files electronically. It will have timestamp. It will have name. Everybody will have ID. You will see. You will cover all these things. You will nip them in the bud. But all this paper files doesn't work. That's why there's high level of corruption. So guys, I'm gonna leave it there as we continue to watch out and see how many other things unfold concerning this investigation and probe conducted that's being carried out by the Economic and Financial Crime Commission on the refineries that the NNPCL are supposed to maintain for you to be functional. And then as things come out, we'll continue to do a follow-up on this. I'll be waiting to hear from you at the comment section so that we'll see what you think concerning what is going on. But let's give credit to who credit is due. And we are glad the EFCC has done what they are doing right now. They are waking up and they are getting back on track in their core mandate. So guys, share your views in the comment section and then we'll take it from there. I'm going to respond to any comment, and don't forget to like and share this video. All right. And if you are new to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and then put on your notification bell so that once my next video drops, you will be among those to be notified. So with this, I'm going to say thank you for stopping by to watch my video, and then thank you for your comment as well. I'll see you in my next video. I'm signing out. See ya.